Welcome to the Process Podcast with your host, Ed Averette, and we have a special guest, Mr. Eugene Brown. Eugene, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you kindly, sir. It's been a long time.
Long time. Been trying to get you on the show forever, right? But we're here.
Yeah, we are here.
Yes.
Go way back.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about day trading and stocks. You have a niche that you have just mastered. You and your company have mastered.
Well, I don't know if I've mastered it, but I have done well.
And I'm so excited and happy for you. And when you hear good information, you just want to share it.
Yeah.
In today's times right now, people are looking for different ways to make money outside of their job. There's nothing wrong with working and getting a paycheck, but there's nothing wrong with investing and flipping your money so you can see more of your money and hopefully do well enough to live independently so you don't have to work a job. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. But first, let's talk about who is Eugene Brown. Let's take us to the beginning. Who is Eugene Brown?
Still trying to figure that one out. Father, military, so I'm a military brat, and we traveled a great deal, lived overseas for about 7 years, and I'm married, 4 kids, dog, cat, make my home here in the Carolinas, and have just spent time trying to learn how to trade and trade well. And I've done pretty well at it and working on some other things, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. But a college degree, nothing special, just a regular guy.
Now, you were in the military as well, right?
I was a young officer during the first Gulf War. I was in Germany again after I graduated from the University of Tampa. And then got into mutual funds eventually, and then eventually stocks once I got back to the States. So that was an adventure in itself.
Well, I never knew that you were doing stocks. So we knew each other in a previous life, right?
Yes.
But I never knew that you were day trading and doing stocks back then. So people, y'all, be careful who you're nice to or mean to, because you never know who's doing what. So you never want to judge a book, not to say that you didn't have it together, but you just never know. So you've been day trading for how long now?
It's been probably since 1993, but most of those years, they weren't successful years until COVID hit. So
Gotcha.
When I got out of service, I had about $80,000, and I proceeded to get rid of it like money grew on trees, trying to learn how to trade. And there were a lot of problems that I had between the ears, like I wasn't disciplined enough, didn't have the right skill set, treated money like I would always have it, and just didn't have what it took to be successful trading. So a lot of starts and stops along the way.
So what got you started? Was there any of your friends or relatives or anybody that just said, hey, you need to check this out and this is how we do this? Or did you just stumble across it and just research it yourself and get into it?
No, in college, because I'm an old man, in 1987, the stock market crashed. And so stocks were always in the headlines then. And I remember, I think Microsoft might have been like $1 and something a share, Dell computer, compact computer. Tech was a big thing on the rise then. And I knew in college that stocks were the place to be because I could see how they would move and go up and down. And so I knew eventually I would get back to it out of service once I got back from serving overseas. So that was my introduction to stocks.
Oh, wow. Wow. I know a lot of people in anything that you do, the challenge is just getting started. A lot of us, we see different things, especially now. TikTok is information on steroids.
Right.
You can see something and you're like, oh, I want to do that. And you see something else, oh, I want to do that. So you got to lock in on something. You have to get started.
You do.
Work out the kinks. You're not going to always win. You're going to lose some, and you're going to learn from those mistakes, and you keep going. So I guess what I want to know is a lot of people are concerned about losing money. So that's the reason why they don't invest. Do you want to talk to that and maybe some challenges or maybe some things that you learned?
Yeah, I think piggyback on what you said, a lot of people, they don't have enough information to make good decisions as it relates to should they start with stocks or should they not. And there's a healthy amount of fear in the marketplace because people are not familiar with what stocks are all about. Over time, I think people, they begin to learn that it's a doable thing, especially since technology, the advances have grown and people have so much access to information. But it takes people a bit to really get there because the fear of losing money, like you said.
What do you think, in your opinion? And I know we have a couple of other questions that we're going to ask. I'm just going off the dome. What do you think, in your opinion, is a fair amount that you would invest in if you were beginning?
As far as starting with?
Yes.
I think if people are going to look to move money in the market, they should at least have $1,000. I started with $477, and you guys can probably watch the video. And then I added about $5,000 by, unfortunately, robbing Peter to pay Paul. I took some money from bills before they were due, didn't tell my wife, put the money in the market, made money, and then started to grow my account. So $1,000, at least if you earn 10% on your money, say for the day or the week or the month, $100 getting some sort of tangible, valuable return, if you will, is a big deal with people. And I use the $100 marker because $100 took me and my family to Olive Garden. $100 would take my family to the movies, even though I might have to sneak in some candy bars or something. But $100 is usually a big deal for a lot of people. If you can teach people how to make a few hundred extra dollars a month, that's meaningful money for a lot of people because a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck.
Absolutely. So you invest $1,000. What was your expectation?
My expectation, my goal every week was to earn 10% on my money each and every week, and just keep putting that, reinvesting that money along the way and never look back. So there was a lot of starts and stops. I have a book, I don't even know if this will be on camera, but in this book, Trading for a Living, and there's a new version of it. In the back of this book, in 2006, my goal was to take $2,000 and turn it into $250,000 by 2009, and that didn't work out. And then years later, in 2016, I wrote all this stuff down. My goal was to take $4,848 and grow that to $129,000 by year's end. And that didn't work out either because I didn't have the right skill set. So my expectation was, this time with COVID, was that I would get it done because my back was against the wall. I had 4 children, a wife, a dog, a cat. I lived in a small house in Huntersville.
You were driving for Uber too, right?
I sure was. And that was obviously the problem. I couldn't be in a car with people who might be infected with this thing called COVID. And so I was like, if it's not now, when is it ever going to be? And then I just kept growing my balance.
Yeah. So you took that money during COVID, you did something, you pivoted when everybody was scurrying around and trying to just exist. Really, we were just scared. Nobody knew what was going to happen next. You took that and you were able to flip that into millions.
Correct. It sounds bad to say. Yeah. I was able to grow my balance to $2.3 million in a year. And
wow.
And some people might think that's luck, but if they knew anything about the market, that's well beyond somebody's luck. And the thing I always tell people, if you got 50% on your money, if you had $10,000 and at the end of the year you had $15,000, you would be beyond happy because you beat the market by a long shot and you grew your money by 50%. If you doubled your money, you would have gone obviously from $10,000 to $20,000. I went 480 times my money in a year, which I'm certainly very proud of, but that's a result of being very locked in and understanding 2 or 3 key things and then just keep doing the same things over and over again. So that's why I had a lot of success.
Man. So I know your wife, I know you had to do some different things, right?
Yeah.
So you came clean and you probably talked to her, say, look, baby, this is what I've been doing. You see where we're at now. I saw where you bought a house, a beautiful house. It's life changing. So did you want to speak to that?
Yeah.
And how y'all were able to come back to terms?
Yes. The account was about $19,000 and we went out on a date. It might have been some sort of, don't ask me what the date was. And I showed her, and she said, let's take the money and pay off some bills. And I said, oh, no, I fully understand what I'm doing. And then the account grew to $33,000, and then we were sitting on the bed and it was 99,900 and something. And then we watched it go to 100,000. And then it just kept going from there. And so we bought the house and bought our new car and all new furniture, and things are good.
So you squared the house, so we're good.
Yes.
All right. What do the kids think about it? Do you talk to them about the process? Or I know we want to allow kids to be kids, but eventually they're going to have to make money for themselves. In my opinion, I feel like the earlier that you can start them to learning how you make money and all that, the better. There's some adults that don't know how to manage money.
Sure. We do a little bit of it now. The kids were super surprised. They heard me talk about that eventually I was going to get it done. And going from a small ranch to the size of our home now, they've learned lessons from it. Like if you put in the work and you stay focused, your life can change. And so they see it. They know it. And so they all know that I've told them, we're going to learn how to trade. And I believe an eighth grader can learn how to trade because the mechanics of it are super simple. The question is, will you put in the rest of the work to really make money?
So how much time in a day do you think it takes to be a successful trader?
It just depends, I think, on the goal and who the individual is. Like if you work full time, then you need to learn the skills how to manage your money throughout the day. And that's just simply putting in some open orders. Say I want to buy NVIDIA at $132. So I place an open order, meaning if the stock hits my price, it'll automatically buy. And there are different types of orders. So it doesn't have to take you a whole lot of time to manage that money throughout the day. Once you've bought it, it only takes just a minute to put a sell order in. Hey, if it hits, say, $142, I want it to automatically sell. So you can manage your money pretty easily throughout the day. The challenge is ensuring you know what to buy and when to buy it and when to exit it.
Right.
Those are the skills people need to learn.
Got you. So you started with trading in stocks in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So a person might look at it and be like, man, I'm going to have to wait like 10, 15, 20 years to see that type of success. I disagree. I think that you just probably have to tap in with somebody that's perfecting it.
Yes.
Just like anything else. And that'll save you a lot of time.
It saves you a whole lot of time.
So you have a company that's showing people
right.
how to do exactly what you did, right?
Right.
You want to speak to that?
Yeah. We're part of a larger platform, and on this platform, I have a trading stocks community. And in that community of people, I have different groups depending on what someone's goals are. But teaching someone, it's not going to take 15 years. I have a woman who's in her 60s who's a teacher in the Rock Hill school system. She's already completed 4 successful trades in a month and a half because I do a lot of hand holding. So she's in my group. I'm teaching her technical analysis and fundamental analysis. And don't get lost, that's so complicated. And I show her what she needs to do to be a successful, profitable trader. And so with every individual, they'll have different goals. So she might be going at a slower pace or she might be going at a faster pace. My point is, it doesn't take long to learn. It's not that difficult. It really is not that difficult. It's about the reps and understanding some few key things.
And investing in the right product too, right?
Yes.
In companies. So a lot of people, they don't know what to invest in. So that you just stuck just right there because you're like, what do I invest in? I have this money. I want to invest into something. And everybody is scared that they're going to lose.
Right.
So going back to your story, it wasn't always successful. You had your book. You were writing your goals down. The goals weren't met, but you did not give up.
Right. Because trading is just a mental thing. It's your company, the process. It's a process thing. There's certain things you do in the morning. There's certain ways that you evaluate stocks. If I'm looking at Target, I will look at, are they growing quarter by quarter? Is it the holiday season? Maybe they're going to have a really good 3 months. Who are their competitors? Where's the stock price in relation to the overall chart? Are we dipping, but then when we hit a particular number, we eventually go back up to this number? There are a lot of moving parts, but it's not that difficult. It really isn't. I think because we as adults were never really taught about money in school, that people think it's this big sort of behind the curtain mystery thing. And because people never really take the time to learn about their money, they typically never have any money because they don't put in the time and the effort to learn about it. So my goal is to teach people how to make money in the stock market, because I promise you, it's really not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I really think that you have to be a student and want to be a student of the game. A lot of people don't want to be students.
No.
Even us with this podcasting and shows, we study a lot of footage. We watch a lot of different shows. I know Phyllis is behind the scenes looking at different things. You have to be a student of the game.
You do.
To be successful.
Yeah, I always tell my students, the money is in the homework. If you don't do any homework, you won't have any money. But if you do the homework and you follow the process, you're going to see that money will follow you. So don't focus on the money, focus on the process. And if you do that, then the money will follow you. And people usually are not willing to do that because they say that they want it, but most people really don't want it. They just like to be comfortable.
And a lot of people, if it's too much work, they think it's a scam.
Right.
It's not, no, you're a scam. Because you have to make the first step. You have to, and I know you're a believer too, right?
I am.
So I was on your social media. I know you speak to sowing seeds and faith without works is dead. All of this that you learn and you read in the Bible is true.
It is true. And even the Bible talks about that you should have more than one stream of income. I don't know the exact chapter and verse, but it just speaks to, what if something goes wrong with that particular stream of income? You should be doing other things. So in that light, people should be looking to see how they can produce more income, because their job at any time can just get rid of them, lay them off, even though they want a 2-week notice from you, but they'll fire you without notice the same day when they're getting rid of you. So you better figure out other ways to make money, and trading stocks certainly is not for everyone. Moving money, you can do it fast, slow, but figure out some other ways. But if you want to learn how to trade, then certainly I'm qualified enough, I would imagine, to help you.
With this administration, are you optimistic about stocks and what our stocks are going to look like?
Yeah, I really don't care who's in office as it relates to money, because there's always money to be made. I don't care the Democrats, Republicans, who's ever in there.
Yeah.
Markets go up and down. Companies have problems. There's always an opportunity to make money. I'm hopeful that the next 3 years or so are without anything major that happens. But if it does, it's just going to represent an opportunity for those of us who move money just to make more money.
It depends on how you look at things. You want to control the controllables. We can't control who's in office. Or some people's candidate, that is their candidate. That's who they voted for.
Sure.
But what we know for sure is we still have bills.
Oh, yeah.
You still have responsibilities.
Right.
If you have a family, you still have to take care of your family. You have to take care of yourself. So regardless of who's in office, you still need to find something that's going to be an income producing.
Yeah, and things are difficult for some folks. The threat of layoffs, and are we nearing a recession? Are interest rates going to maybe get lower to make things a little bit cheaper for people to be able to buy homes? And certainly you're in the real estate industry. But I just highly encourage people to try 2 or 3 things, learn some things, and if you fail at them, wonderful. I have a sign in my office that says fail faster and you'll learn more, because the people who just fail a lot, they'll eventually figure it out. The problem with most people, they are afraid of failing. So because they're afraid of failing, they never try, and then they never try, so they never get anything done.
Yeah, and it's like even buying a house. My side, so I talk to so many people, and there are a lot of people that really, they think they want to buy a house, but when it comes to making the steps and talking to the loan officer, they're a little hesitant about that. Oh, I got to give them all this paperwork. I say, yes, because they need to verify that what you're telling is true, and they want to make sure that you qualify for the correct amount and you're not looking for the wrong house. Maybe a higher price house, which you're not comfortable with those payments, then maybe it's going to be another house. So it's a process to that, and you can't just think about what can go wrong.
Right.
Think about what can happen if it actually works.
Right. Yeah, so that piggybacking on that's always I don't know, it's the hook, it's the sales pitch, if you will. It's the trying to communicate to somebody that you've got to do the work, you've got to come out of your comfort zone. They say you've got to get uncomfortable for you to get comfortable. And a lot of people are just not willing to do that. So figuring out process, figuring out what needs to be done, whether you're buying a new home or you're trying to learn how to trade stocks or you're running a podcast, whatever that is, it's just going to require some work and some time and boxes that have to be checked. And if you don't check the boxes, it's just not going to work out for you.
You have to have faith.
Yes, you do.
You have to, because I'm sure you probably had some friends or family members that, oh man, you're doing that stock stuff again. Before you made that 2.3 or 5 million that year, I'm sure you had people in your ear like, oh, come on, Gene, you still doing that?
Right. Yeah, neighbors, people that I've known and still know were very surprised. And you yourself, I've known you for years. You're probably like, oh, he did what? People really don't know what's coming. But you work on it. You have faith in yourself. You have faith and belief in your abilities. And you have faith, for me personally, in God and what the plan is for my life. And I just try to be proactive. I try to participate and do my part. And if this is what the good Lord wants me to have, then I will have it. And then I certainly try to be a good steward of what has been given to me. And then how am I using my talent to help other people with their journey in life? So it's a process, and it takes some time to get things situated so that I can make sure I'm doing my part to help other people.
Good stuff. We're going to do a part 2 where we're talking more about, we want to talk more about you.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about your family history. How did you grow up?
Yeah.
Grow up with money?
No.
So we're going to talk about that. But great show. We're going to do episode number 2 next.
Sounds good.
All right.